Mail merges in Word can be helpful because you can create a document to send to multiple people, and you can create a document that's customized for each individual person without having to go in and edit the document for each person. The mail merge process in Word will allow you to do all of the customization for one time as a template, and then you will pull in the data that you need to customize it for each individual person. So you need a couple of starting documents. You need your main, or what they call the starting document, and in this case it's a letter. It's 2 pages, and it's one that I'm going to send to the recipients. The second document that you need is the data for the recipients. And in this case, I have a few recipients in the file to whom I will send this 2-page letter. So what I'll do, I'm going to close the data file, and then I'm going to go into my mail merge process. Under mailings, you can go in and start the process and use these icons, or you can go through the Start Mail Merge and the step-by-step wizard, which is helpful if you haven't done it before and you're not as familiar. So there will be 6 steps over here in the right-hand pane. The first step is to select your document type. Ours is going to be a letter, so we'll leave that, and we'll click on Next to go to the starting document. The starting document we were going to use is the current document here, and we already have that open, so we don't have to do anything else here, so we'll click on Next to go to Select Recipients. Now this is our Excel file which has the recipient information. So we could type in a new list if we wanted to, but since you have an existing list in this case, we're going to use that, and then we're going to browse to find that document, and it's right here. When you select the table, it will show you that there's one sheet in the Excel file, and that the first row of data contained column headers. So in the Excel file, when we looked at it, it had column headings, which will make it easier for the mail merge to pull the data into the document. Next, it will show you a preview of the data in the Excel file. And in this step, you can go in and sort the data, filter the data, and so forth. You can also go in and filter it here, for example, if you wanted certain postal codes and so forth. But we want to use all of this data, so we're going to click on OK. And next we will write the letter. So when we write the letter, what we need to do is tell Word to bring in certain pieces of information from that Excel file for the recipients. So I'm going to go to the letter, and I'm going to insert what they call field codes or blocks. And the first one I want to pull in is an address block, so that I'll have the address of the recipient. So there are some here that are standard, what they call blocks. So if I pull in the address block, it's going to ask me, how do I want the address elements to appear? So it will give you a preview here, and if you wanted to edit it a little bit, you can do so, but you can go in and edit those items. If your fields don't match up nicely with the Excel file, then you can force it to match the fields to what's in your Excel file. So here I'm going to click on OK because those look fine. It's going to give you the address block, which is a field. So that will serve the purpose of pulling in the address information for the recipients from the Excel file. Normally what you'll have next is what we call a greeting line. So we'll pull in a greeting line from here, And you can choose whichever format that you would like for your greeting line, if you want it to be more formal or less formal. So I'm going to leave it as is, and you can preview the items from here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. That looks fine. And if you wanted to include more items from the data file, you can go in and pull those. So for example, if you were sending a letter to a client and they owed a balance on a bill, for example, you could have that in the Excel file as far as the balance is concerned, and then you could pull that in and display that somewhere in the letter that they owed a specific balance. For our purposes, we are done. So we'll go to the next step to preview the letters. And what this will do is show you it's pulling in the address block information from the Excel file, as well as the data for the greeting line. If you want to see the preview of those, you can go over here and preview those. If you need to make any adjustments, you need to make them to the template here, because if you go ahead and merge the data for each person, let's say if you have 100 people in your recipient list, if you change the data and then, or if you merge the data and then find that there's an error in the letter, you would have to either change it in all 100 letters or go back through this process and make the correction in the letter and then merge the data again. So in this case, I'm just going to change this to, I want to change it to, I'm going to remove the spacing, put that space here. So if we preview a couple of those, we can see that that works for each one. Okay, so the next step is to complete the merge. So we'll go to that step. Now you have not completed the merge actually from here. So again, if you wanted to make any changes, make them here before you complete the merge. And I think I will add another line or two here between that date. Now, that looks good, so I'm going to complete the merge. When you complete the merge, you have to go through another step. It is not complete at this point. This is my demo file. So when you want to complete everything, go to Edit Individual Letters, and we're going to merge all of the records. Now, it creates another file. You can see it here. It's called Letters. This is the file that has the merged data. So I had, for each recipient, 2 letters, or a letter that's 2 pages. So you can scroll through and ensure that everything looks fine. And you can print the letters from here. You do not have to save this file where it's merged, because you can always go back through the merge process, and that way if you do have any data that's been added to the file, you will be able to pull in that new data. So going through the mail merge process is much easier when you do it this way. And again, you can see the steps that we've gone through, or the steps that are here if you wanted to go through the steps at the top of the ribbon there.